Short on empathy, long on apathy. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice to get on. Mandate, get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. We love that about you. Sabrina, good to see you, my dear.
Good to see you, too.
I think you're pretty far from that microphone about now.
Here we go.
But I also feel like, yeah, you can either lean in or you can move it, but stay close.
Cool.
So, PragerU, Director of Outreach at PragerU. Of course, that's named after Dennis Prager. One of my favorite people on the planet, not because we agree on everything, although we agree on about 96% of things, but because he's jovial, fun, friendly. It's always funny when they level that stuff, you know, anti-Semitic, hate-fueled,
white supremacists, all the things.
He's really like Santa Claus every day of the year, right?
He's like America's grandpa, and yeah, he's one of my favorite people too. And I'm not just saying that because he pays my bills, but yeah, he's truly a precious gem of America.
Yeah, and lots of wisdom. And I was always a fan of his long before, PragerU, because I'm from L.A. and I used to listen to him do Religion on the Line back in the day. And I always found him to have a lot of wisdom. So good. We're glad to have you here representing PragerU. We got some news coming as well. And I got stuff to get into. First, this. I don't know. It's a dilemma. It's a moral dilemma. But you tell me how you would handle this. I have a guy right now, an employee. I have some employees that work on creative things, but I have others that work on automobiles and building and things of that nature. And I'm getting prepped for a car race, and the shop that's going to prep the car is in San Jose, and the car needs to be brought there, which is not too far from the racetrack at Laguna Seca, so that's fine. But the car needs to be prepped, gone through for the race that's coming up. So he's in charge of taking the car in a trailer and taking it to San Jose. I like Waze. I use Waze. I trust Waze.
Really?
I'm not saying that Waze is not fallible, but I think in a weird ways, we're asking too much. We as modern people are sort of technology snobs, and when I say technology, I don't just mean tech, Silicon Valley. I just mean cell phones, airplanes, automobiles. Like we're little. You get in your car, you jump in, it takes you everywhere. All day, every day, and after 7 years, you turn on the air conditioning and cold air doesn't come out of the vent. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what's next? And it's like, hey, this isn't too bad a deal.
Yeah.
We should appreciate it more, understand that the car has several thousand parts, and once in a while, stuff malfunctions. But by and large, we get to where we're going in comfort, safety, and air conditioning.
Yeah, but Waze makes me so nervous because you're basically going based off people's recommendations, right? Isn't the whole premise of it that people can update where there's accidents and things like that? But
yeah,
I don't know. Are people super reliable with that?
I don't.
It makes me nervous.
How nervous? Like on a one, like let's just say
like
you're having a tumor biopsied versus using Waze. Like on the same par?
Yeah, pretty close.
It makes you super nervous.
Yeah. I mean, and I grew up, like, when I learned to drive, we used to have to, like, print out MapQuest directions.
You know what I've kind of realized? You know what I've realized from doing this show?
Yeah.
Every time I think of something that I think, oh, well, this will be universally accepted as a premise, it mostly isn't. But, so Waze makes you super nervous.
Yeah.
So do you use any kind of navigation?
Yes, I use just Apple, whatever their navigation is. And
which
to be honest,
doesn't make you nervous.
No, I think I've just gotten used to the format.
Because it's not based on people.
Recommendations, yeah.
Recommendations.
Yeah.
So, like, Waze will tell you if there's a cop hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
Nervous, or we're okay with that?
Yeah, it makes me more nervous. I think then I start driving weirder when I know a cop's watching. Do you ever feel like that?
I don't feel like I drive weirder,
Yeah.
but I might slow down.
Yeah.
But then that would be good if there was a cop, is what I'm saying.
It's true. I'm really not making the case for female drivers right now, am I?
I'm not sure what driving weirder means.
Yeah. I feel like I just get more tense and then I'm overthinking what I'm doing.
All right. So, but ways you don't trust.
Yeah, I think it's just the format. I'm like a creature of habit. I've gotten so used to the Apple or whatever, the Apple Maps that anything that's not Apple Maps, it throws me off.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not the same as being nervous or not trusting something.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Now I'm nervous.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway. Dawson, do you use Waze?
I do. I had to
Does it
use
make
Waze
you nervous?
Today. No, it doesn't make me nervous. But when I got on 134, no, I'm sorry, when I got on 170 to get here, it's a ton of traffic. So you got to quickly hit the Waze and find the alt route.
Yeah. But the alt route is based on other people taking the alt route?
Their alt route was jacked. I took my own alt route, but I saw, they're like, you got to get off on Vineland and loop around to Riverside. And then they were trying to put me back on the 134 with a bunch of traffic. And I could see the traffic stalled, but then I could see, I'll just go down to Cahuenga on a side street here and then jump on 134. And there was no traffic after that. So it's not always accurate. It pisses me off, but it is my default
I think
choice.
it's good. I'm good with it. I was going to say 9 times out of 10, but I think it's more like 99 times out of 100. It gets me where I want to go. Its big problem is when it pulls you off the freeway and takes you down side streets to save 30 seconds.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, and then you're having to look at your phone while you're driving so much to keep up with the new directions.
Yeah,
to save 2 minutes.
Well, that's the whole thing. They should work out, and they should. What I now do is I check the alt route, and if it's like saves you 1 minute to get off the freeway and drive through Damnation Alley, then I don't do it.
Yeah.
All right. I was going to get this story about Waze, but
No, do it.
I don't know. I feel. I don't know. I feel defeated. Let's see. All right, I'm going to tell you this story. I have an employee. He's taking his car, this race car. He's towing this race car up north. And this guy would come to my home in Malibu from my shop in Glendale. And sometimes it would take him an extra half an hour. And I would say to him, why'd it take so long? And he'd say, the freeway, 405, we hit the 10, and the 10 was all backed up. I just sat there on the 10. And I would say, well, you don't go to the 10. Get off on Sunset, and you cut across to PCH. And that's what Waze tells me to do. And then he says, I don't trust Waze. And I go, well, I know you don't trust Waze, but I'm paying you by the hour and you're just sitting in traffic. And he says, I don't trust Waze. And I'm like, well, I'm not really here to make an argument for Waze, but I'm saying Waze would tell you to get off the 405 on Sunset and not go through to the 10. That's what Waze would tell you. And then you could save a half hour, which I'm paying you for.
Yeah.
So then yesterday I said to him, going up to San Jose. He says, yeah. I said, can you use Waze? Because it's already 5-6 hours and I'm paying you by the hour. So use Waze. And he said, I don't trust Waze. And then I said, well, why not? And he said, because his wife used it once. It took her off a side street and she got hit with a baseball bat. And I said, I can't really come back from that. Like, I don't know what to say. It's probably true. There could be more to it. I don't know if I completely blame Waze. But
I kind of want more details. Did she get out of the car? How do you end up?
You saying nervous driving in front of a potential cop, that's not a good reason to not use Waze. Yeah. But getting hit with a baseball bat,
that'll do it.
That I feel like that'll do it. So I gave him a pass on Waze.
That's fair.
It's fair.
I just got to go get hit, and then I can get out of this conversation.
We have a bat? We have a bat in the other room. All right.
Then I never have to use Waze.
I'm telling you, it's weird because I look at it as one of the biggest blessings in my life. Mainly not to avoid traffic, but to tell me how long it's going to take to get to somewhere. That's the blessing for me. But Apple do that too, right?
All right, I'm open to it. I think for the next week, I'm only going to use Waze, and I'll report back and see how much time it saved me. And if I get hit by a bat, I'll let you know.
It's really for me about, I got to go, you do a show at the Irvine Improv on a Thursday night. It's supposed to be there at 7:30. I have no idea how long it's going to take to get me there.
Yeah.
That's where the Waze comes in. All right, speaking of getting hit, there's a case that I heard about yesterday driving home, and it's this boy, 10-year-old boy, I think, and he was walking across the street with his mom, and he messed with the hood ornament of a Mercedes, and then the guy got out of the car and whacked him. And now they're pressing charges against the guy who whacked him. Open hand, side of the head, kid had a hoodie on. We're snapping into action. Now in L.A., you can do all the smash and grab robberies you want, or take over street bridges or intersections with hot rods doing donuts and a Dodge, all that. We don't really care. But you hit a homeless kid, we're throwing the book at you. And we'll, I think we got the story. Now, I'm very old school. My thing is if you don't want to get whacked by an Armenian guy who owns a Mercedes, then don't fuck with his hood ornament. That's me. But okay,
But the better question is, was the hood ornament under $950? Because then it's socially acceptable in California.
Yeah, well, we'll play the story. Now, you're going to hear in the story that the kid was like autistic and the kid was homeless. But when you're sitting in your Mercedes and some kid starts railing on your hood ornament, you don't get a full medical workup and evaluation of this kid. You don't know that he's homeless, and you don't know he's autistic. All you know is he's grabbing your Mercedes. All right, sorry, Joe, you're going to say something?
This is just a clip of the incident.
Oh, okay. I have a clip of the incident. Yeah, there's the news story somewhere, but we'll check in that. But this is what happened. Guy gets out of his car.
Hey, sir.
Gives him the open hand. Can I say? So what do they? Doesn't matter. He fixed his hood ornament, drove away. Now, I probably wouldn't have bothered to get out of the car and give the kid the frontier justice. What did that guy get charged with is the question. Oh, sorry. City Attorney's Office charged Scott Sajagian, or whatever it is, willful cruelty to a child and battery on a person.
It's a little dramatic.
Seems like a lot. Seems like a little frontier justice for me. But here's the thing. That kid, whether he's autistic or not, whatever syndrome he has, whatever spectrum he's on, learned a valuable lesson. Don't fuck around with strangers' hood ornaments. I guarantee that kid will never touch another stranger's hood ornament.
I'm curious, what was the mom doing when this went down? Because she was clearly there, just kind of watching it happen.
I think she was walking the kid across the street, and the kid, I think they were at a crosswalk to hear the story. And she was walking him across the street, and he just like reached over, and I probably didn't do a good mom job in that particular case, but she just messed around. He reached over and messed around
and found out.
He effed around and found out, but now he won't do it anymore. Also, with the advent of pro wrestling, the open hand to the side of the head, is that really even a thing anymore? I mean, you watch pro wrestling, it's just people fake hitting each other. That looked like a pro wrestling move. Also, as I've said many times, my daughter spit in the face of her nanny when she was about 3 years old, and the nanny smacked her, and she never did it again.
There you go.
And I said, good. So I agree.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think people really understand it does prevent people from doing stuff again.
Well, and we have to look at, like, parenting has gotten so unhinged now. Are you familiar with gentle parenting at all or heard of that trend?
Yes.
The first time I heard about it. So when I was in college, I used to work for a nannying company. So I would have some regular families that I would work for a couple days a week, and then I would get random families. And I was so excited. I got hooked up with this family that was only 10 minutes away from where I lived in Point Loma down in San Diego. Beautiful neighborhood. They had 3 boys under the age of 10. And the mom did not believe in any sort of discipline. So
yes.
Not even, and I understand, like, as a babysitter, I'm not going to come spank your kid. But
Right.
if she didn't believe in taking things away from them, she didn't believe in timeout, anything like that. It was
Yeah.
the one and only family I ever had to quit because the kids would get physical with me. And after it happened a couple of times, I couldn't do it. Then I came to find out I was the 3rd babysitter to quit on this family because the one before me, one of the kids managed to kick through, and I don't know if he kicked through the whole window of her car, but shattered part of the window of her car.
How old was the kid?
He was probably like 9.
Yeah. Yeah, kids,
Pretty
listen,
wild.
they need discipline.
Yeah.
The self-esteem movement is a unmitigated disaster. Taking everybody and making them feel like they're the coolest and number one is a disaster in terms of forming a society. And I didn't do a lot of disciplinary stuff with my kids, but it's because I was lazy. It's not really because I didn't think it was good. I was just a lazy parent.
Well, they probably didn't need it. I mean, I have to assume they're pretty cool adults if they're your kids. Like, do you like I mean, you gotta enjoy spending time with
probably
them.
could have used. Oh no, they're both good.
Yeah,
They could have
you did a
used
good job
probably
then.
a little more discipline. I appreciate you bailing me out, but they could have used a little more discipline. There's no doubt about that. But I was kind of like, they'll be good citizens, and this will be fine. And I don't want to burn tons of calories disciplining everybody.
Yeah.
And they turned out fine. So we're cool. But I'm just saying, you got to discipline your kids when they do stuff wrong, or do what I do: tell the nanny to discipline them, and
Yeah.
then you pay the nanny.
There you go.
I just farmed it out.
Yeah.
I would tell people all the time. They go, "Oh, kids, so much work." I go, "No, you can just throw money at the problem.
Yeah.
It's easy."
It's a good option.
Now,
Yeah,
look,
it's-
when you pay someone else to raise your kids, you just got to make sure they have good values.
Yeah, that's
And their
super
nanny
important.
had good values.
There you go.
All right, you got some news, by the way, for us to get into?
Oh, yeah. I thought we'd kind of start things off with something pretty heavy, which is the 7 health benefits of cold showers. Have you heard about this trend?
I took a cold shower today.
Oh, there you go. You're on it. So there are gentler ways to start the day than with an ice cold shower, yet the potential health benefits, warding off illness, improving mood, and helping with weight loss, could be just enough to make you consider braving the chill. Professor Mike Timpton, a psychologist at the University of Portsmouth, has spent 4 decades studying how temperature affects our health. It's a promising area of new research, and coupled with anecdotal accounts, might persuade you to turn the dial down to cold.
Can I just tell everyone this? Everything you don't want to do is good for you. That's the rule.
Yeah.
You would much rather eat barbecue than celery, but celery's better for you. You would rather have a hot shower than a cold shower. Doing stuff that's slightly painful that you don't want to do is all of life. Essentially the winners deal with and do more of stuff they don't want to do than the losers. Okay, the biggest loser you can be is a person that does 100% of the stuff they want to do and 0% of stuff they don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And you better learn to train, break, control, whatever that is, yourself, and start doing stuff you don't want to do. Now, doesn't mean you don't get to do stuff you want to do a lot of the time, but it's a balance. And the more stuff you do you don't want to do, the more successful you're going to be.
Yeah, it's discipline. Discipline's more effective than just motivation.
Your boss, Dennis Prager, always says this, and I completely identify with it. He goes, I consider myself a lazy person. And then people always go, but Dennis, you're not lazy. You write books, you speak, you travel, you do all these very motivated endeavors. So how can you think of yourself as lazy. And he goes, I don't act lazy, but I think of myself as lazy. I think of myself as a lazy person who must fight and defeat my lethargy. And I don't win all the time, but on a daily basis, it's a little bit of a battle.
Yeah.
And all the cold shower is one more example of stuff you don't want to do that you're doing, regardless of any physiological benefits. It's literally you just going, I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to take a cold shower. And then you go, that doesn't feel good. And then the answer is good. Get used to doing things that don't feel good because all the stuff that's good for you doesn't feel good.
Yeah. What are the benefits that you've noticed since you started doing it?
I've been doing the cold plunge / cold shower for maybe eight to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Now, there's one immediate benefit. The one immediate benefit is you are awake when you step out of the freezing cold swimming pool or the cold tank or the cold shower. You're 100% awake.
Yeah.
Which people go, well, you're awake because you got out of bed. And it's like, no, listen, you go do a couple of shows that night at a stand-up club. You come back to the hotel 12:30 at night. You meet your buddy in the lobby at 6 a.m. to catch a 7:45 flight out of Dallas or whatever. You're not fully awake at 10 in the morning. You're still kind of sitting there. There's some cobwebs, is what I'm saying. You go into a frosty cold swimming pool and submerge yourself and sit there for 3 minutes and get out, you're fully awake.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you drank the night before and what time you went to bed. You are awake. And you just step into the shower and just stand there when it's not on and just turn the handle and get hit with freezing cold water for 30 seconds. You're 100% awake when you step out of it.
Yeah.
So physiologically, that's the good part. Second part is you started your day by doing something you didn't want to do. Mm-hmm. Right out of the gate. First thing, feet barely hit the ground from the bed. You went and you disciplined yourself a little bit. Mm-hmm. You didn't go down and have a Belgian waffle.
Yeah.
You just went, pow, cold water. Tough guy, wake up. Here we go. So you psychologically sort of get out. You start your day with, I'm doing something I don't want to do, but I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. That's good. Physiologically, I can't tell anything about myself because I don't feel anything. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of dead spiritually, emotionally, physically inside. No, like
you're really selling me on these showers.
I get a B12 shot. I can't tell how I can't tell I feel any different. I really don't. But all I know is I never get sick. Mm-hmm. I never have whatever the issues that plagues the world. Well, I shouldn't say the world, the Western world. Mm-hmm. The people who always get headaches, the people who always have backaches, the people that are constantly talking about their gut and about acid reflux and having to take Pepsid AC and all the pills and all the stuff they can't eat and all the stuff that, is going to, I'd love to have a piece of cheesecake, or pasta with red sauce on, but I'm going to pay the price when I get home.
Yeah. The allergies, the sensitivities, the everything.
Zero everything all the time, which existed before the cold dunks.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
So I totally believe you on the being alert and awake. I just don't know if I'm buying some of these health benefits, like losing weight. Like, are you actually losing weight or could it be shrinkage? Like, we don't really know.
I don't think what's attached to one is what's always attached to another, which is people that take cold dunks lose weight. Well, look, the physiological part is you activate your body.
Yeah.
Your body goes into a thing, like when
kind of like a fight or flight, right?
Yeah, it goes in. Yeah. It gets your immune system gets moving when you step out. When I lived in the foothills of La Cañada, and it would get in the winter, would get into the 20s, high 20s, 28, 29 degrees on a cold night, but there'd be like frost on the rear lawn and stuff like that. You go dunk yourself into that swimming pool, you step out, you're beet red. Mm-hmm. Your body's doing something. Your body thinks it fell off a tuna boat in the Bering Straits. Like your body's trying to
Yeah.
I'm in a swimming pool knocking you out, but my body thinks it's dying, and it has to do something, and it activates hard. Like it goes into action quick.
Yeah.
When you get into a freezing cold tank, you can feel your behind your knees where your legs are kind of folded in, and inside your elbows and your armpits.
You feel everything.
They get warm because your body's like, we're trying to salvage something here, and it gets activated, and that's why you're all red when you step out. But the reason people take cold dunks, lose weight, is because they're also able to say no to a donut at the office 2 hours later because they have discipline and self-control.
So why would they ruin the work that they put in?
Yeah, they're generally have a more disciplined person.
Yeah.
And then the number one answer that everyone says, I tell everyone, just do it. They go, too cold. I go, I know. I go, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. Yeah. And I go, yeah, I know. Let me just tell you something. People who do stuff, they act like you like it. Mm-hmm. You know, they go like, do the cold thing. And they go, yeah, that's for you. And not me. It's cold. I go, it's the exact same cold.
Yeah.
I don't like it either.
People can do hard things. You usually learn the most about yourself when you're doing something hard.
Yeah, wash your own car. You don't have to do that. You could get somebody, fix your own whatever, climb a mountain. You can do it.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
Totally agree. All right. So speaking of people that kind of just don't really want to necessarily do hard things or even work. So let's get into universal basic income. So there's this article called Money for Nothing, Is Universal Basic Income About to Transform Society?
No.
And essentially,
not in a good way.
Preaching to the choir. The concept of a guaranteed income is gaining traction as a solution to the impact of AI and a way to encourage more rewarding and socially valuable work.
All right. Okay. Socially valuable work, like artist, musician, fuck off. We need more diesel mechanics and welders,
we need
not
more
musicians
laborers,
and
construction
artists.
workers.
Yes. All right, number one. Okay. First up, there is no version of giving anyone free stuff that ever works. It never works.
Because there's no such thing as free stuff.
Well, I mean, there are no free lunches in nature, as Dr. Drew always says. There is such a thing as a free meal for a 9-year-old. For somebody, but it doesn't ever work. It just gets them dependent and strung out. Look, we've been doing this whole welfare experiment for 50 some odd years now. It doesn't help the group you're trying to help. It doesn't help. If it helped, then I would be for it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help that group. So I'm not for it. And it hurts them and it weakens them. And I don't get why we don't get this. It's not like this is an experiment that we tried over the last 14 months.
Yeah.
It's been a couple generations.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
You're preaching to the choir. I'm a first-generation Cuban American, so I grew up hearing all of this. My parents, my grandparents, everyone. And the crazy thing about it is I just don't understand how people can think that more government involvement in these things, like your basic ability to get by, is a good thing. We've seen it over history. I mean, look at the 60s, like you were saying, with the creation of the welfare state. Okay, the government got involved. What happened? We ended up getting more people on welfare and a bigger impoverished population. And then you look at the 80s, even with Ronald Reagan. Okay, so the war on drugs. What happened? Even more people ended up on drugs.
Yes.
You look at the 2000s here with Gavin Newsom declaring the war on homelessness. How's that going?
Yeah. It never works. It can't work. It doesn't work. So we need to stop it, reevaluate it. There's I don't know, Joe, I'm going to ask you to look around. There was a clip. There's a great clip of me on the HuffPo from years ago, like 10 years ago, but I was thinking about it, talking about just basically family and education. She's taking me to task for taking Gavin Newsom to task. It's an old clip. Dawson will probably remember, but it's family and education. She wants to know about the school to prison pipeline, which always makes me laugh. But then there's also the one that this is reminding me of. There's another clip. There's two clips. There's the other one, which I like more, which is Anna
Kasparian with the Young Turks.
For the Young Turks.
Oh, yeah.
After I just told everyone, feed your own kids. Feed your own kids. I don't want the government feeding your kids. I don't want your kids relying on the government. By the way, is there any proof that the government does a good job of anything? And so
I just listed a few things. Not a single one.
They don't. So why would you want to depend on the most inept people in the world? California is building a bullet train that's not even a bullet train from Merced to Modesto. They're $100 billion over budget, and they haven't laid 1 foot of track, and it's been 13 years. Do you want those people in charge of your housing and your food
and feeding you?
And your education and everything else? I don't.
No, it is crazy. And the irony, too, in this article is they reference that they're doing case studies on this. Even here in the U.S., they're actually doing it. And they notice that between Ireland, here in the U.S., and a few other places in the U.K. where they're doing this study, they have people who have been on this program, the study, for 3 years, and they're still taking on a job on top of the study because it's still not even enough to get by.
Well, okay, listen, here's the thing, everyone. You can, as our great Gavin Newsom announced, just go $20 minimum wage.
Yeah.
$20. So all fast food workers are now going to get $20 a minimum wage, and then all they do is lay people off and raise the prices of a Happy Meal. That's it. There's just a counter move. Once you give everybody a baseline of $1,000, then everything just goes up $1,000.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Like, when the government and when governments topple, it'll be like, how much for that taco? 2 billion pesos. Like, they just keep raising.
Yeah.
The peso used to be, 8 pesos to the dollar. And then at some point it got up to 2,000 pesos to the dollar. But that doesn't, you can keep raising what it's worth, but it's just worth less.
Absolutely.
So if you gave every single American $1 million once a year, then everything would just move up.
Yeah, $1 million doesn't mean as much then.
Right.
We're seeing it right now. Look at how many fast food chains across California are closing down because it's a $20 minimum wage. Where are people thinking these companies are going to make up for that wage gap? And then it's actually hurting the workers because they're the ones that are either getting their hours cut or losing their jobs because these fast food restaurants can't afford to keep them.
We have the Young Turks clip, which I enjoy. It's old, but it's them taking me to task over saying, make your kids breakfast. Do not have the government do it. And then in the clip, I explain it's not about money. But then they explain I'm too cheap. But here it is.
I think I've become more conservative as I've gotten older, as I've had a family, as people do when they get older and they have a family and they pay more in taxes and they start looking for school systems for their kids that are usable and things like that. There's a move toward a more conservative life in general as you get older. But as far as my talking points go, stop shitting out kids you can't afford. You pay for their school breakfast, not because I want you to pay for their school breakfast, but because the kid should know that mom and or dad are paying for breakfast. I mean, making the effort. It's a psychological thing. It's not a matter of, I don't want to pay 39 cents a day for your kid. I don't give a fuck about that. Half the fucking government takes half my money and does whatever the fuck they want with it anyway. I mean, that's your kid's breakfast is the least of my worries. I worry about your kid and the message that's being sent to your kid by mama not making them breakfast. That's what I worry about. But my talking points have not changed. Get your shit together, get to work, stop shitting out kids, so on and so forth.
I love that video because for someone who doesn't give a shit about breakfast, he talks about breakfast throughout the entire clip.
All right, now we got to break this down. I'm obsessed with McMuffins. Hey, who wants to go out for some home fries after the show? I'm not obsessed with breakfast. By the way, what is your job? Is your job to break down and give analysis to videotape? Because, bitch, you're not even close. I'm using breakfast as a metaphor to say I want you to take care of your own kids. So anyway, I'm not interested in breakfast. I'm pretty obsessed with breakfast.
No, and the funny thing is, have you followed the Young Turks at all the last couple years? She's actually gotten, I wouldn't say conservative by any means, but she's gotten a little more right-leaning on a few topics and is not a fan of Newsom either, which, by the way, talking shit about Newsom is my love language as someone who was born and raised here.
All right, sorry. Roll it back. Sorry. I'm obsessed with breakfast. Yeah, she's changed her stripes a little bit. Good for her. Still angry.
She's still very angry.
Video, because for someone who doesn't give a shit about breakfast, he talks about breakfast throughout the entire clip. He's like, make your kids breakfast. Now, what I love about that is it's always the go-to argument by some conservatives, and usually the least informed conservatives, right? They're really angry about free lunches. And of all the issues, of all the different things that we waste our tax dollars on,
all right, let's
to go
pause.
to the issue of school lunch.
I don't feel like conservatives are obsessed with school lunches.
No, I think this might be the first time I've talked about it.
I've never. You watch the RNC? A lot of school lunch talk.
Yeah, every speech.
A lot of hot school lunch talk. Trump's always talking about school lunches when he gives those speeches.
I mean, he loves McDonald's, but that's the most I've heard about his lunch menu.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna go. She's 0 for 2. She thinks I'm obsessed with breakfast, and my conservative talking points surround mostly school lunches, and then there's a little border talk sprinkled in. We'll sprinkle in a little border talk and maybe a little Ukraine, but it's mostly about lunch, free lunches. Okay. All right, and breakfast. Okay.
Different things that we waste our tax dollars on. To go to the issue of school lunches just befuddles me. I just don't understand it, right? But he gets into more specifics.
All right, hold on. She's befuddled by wasting the tax dollars. I'm not talking about money. I told you I don't care about money. It's in the clip you just ran. I don't care about money. I care about you having the government get in between you and your child. And feeding a child is half caloric and then half symbolic. It's it's like when you're sick and mama makes you chicken soup. Chicken soup doesn't cure anything. It's the symbolism of your mom going, I made this for you because I care, because I'm your mother. The government didn't make this chicken soup for you. I couldn't imagine the version of government chicken soup and how gray and crappy it would be missing a lot of chicken. So I don't know what she's doing with my point other than completely misinterpreting my point.
I just love that she calls it a conservative talking point because it used to just be a basic idea of teaching a man to fish. Remember?
Well, all conservative talking points are former just basic ideas that everyone knew. All right, we'll continue on. Sorry.
Don't understand it, right? But he gets into more specifics, or he gets a little more specific, I should say, in the next clip. Let's take a quick look at that.
It's the left turning conservatism into a pejorative, number one. Being conservative didn't used to be a pejorative in any stretch of the imagination. Being conservative with your money was being prudent. Being conservative as it pertained to work or investments or even, at the poker table, it was sort of prudent. It's conservative meant prudent. It was not a pejorative.
All right.
The left.
I'm tired of hearing this. But I will say this. Sometimes I listen to old tapes of me and I go, I like that guy. I agree with him.
And isn't it funny how things like a few years later we look back and we're like, that seems so crazy at the time, but now it's not crazy. Do you remember the clip from Bill Maher with Dennis when he went on? And how that one it only took a matter of 3 years for that one to come back around?
Well, you should explain the clip to our listeners.
So essentially, Dennis went on Bill Maher about 3 years ago and said that the left predominantly says that men can get pregnant.
Right.
And Bill Maher and the panelists laughed in his face. And here we are 3 years later.
They did laugh.
It was wild. And they looked at him like he was some crazy conspiracy theorist. And then 3 years go by, and here we are. I would love to know when that clip was from. What year?
Oh, God, it's got to be 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
10 years old. And listen, I'm right about everything all the time, 100% of the time. No one ever apologizes. No one ever goes, hey, I tore you a new a-hole 10 years ago about something you turned out to be right about. I mean, that's all COVID was.
Yeah.
All COVID was me being right about everything all the time and everyone coming after me with pitchforks. And then no mea culpas or apologies or that's not their world. HuffPo, though. HuffPo's good. Now, the chick who interviewed me on HuffPo is down the road. I don't know where she is, but she took umbrage with me telling Gavin Newsom that education and family would cure all of the stuff you're trying to fix by throwing money at the problem. You know, he's worried about homelessness and predatory check cashing places, and I'm like, family, education. And because she's at HuffPo, she's going to call me out on my radical idea of family and education. Here it is. Sorry.
So he didn't give you a good answer as to perhaps what he thought maybe some of the systemic causes are that
he had zero.
Leave minority groups in positions where they are more likely to live in poverty and be preyed on by these types
I gave
of
him the
businesses.
answer, which is family and education, and we can all get out of this mess. And he said it was much more complicated than that. But then
it is a little more complicated than that, than just saying family and education.
Not much.
Oh, but come on! I mean, it's a system, right? Where it is much harder to get out of a certain income bracket if you're born into it. If you live in a certain neighborhood,
right?
that affects the
that's
quality.
why you have to focus on family and education. I mean, I'm not Christian or anything.
You're not going to solve everything.
It would solve everything, yeah.
Just family and education.
Just
what about
family.
The drug war that we have that's failing? What about the school to prison pipeline? Things like this.
The school to prison pipeline, if you focused on education, I think would interrupt the school to prison pipeline.
Well, the problem is that
unless
schools
they're physically a pipeline.
Schools are maybe not focusing on education so much as they are.
All right. Everybody, you're all wrong. You're just wrong. And now, here's what you could do so you don't be wrong again in 10 years. You could just listen to me now.
Yeah.
So that'll be a way to avoid being wrong again. Anyway, she wanted to know about the school to prison pipeline. And I said, if there's physically a pipeline, then we got to get into this. But
yeah. And I mean, the tough thing is, I know Dennis talks about this, Larry Elder, someone else whom I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
Like, they all talk about this, and it really even comes down to just fathers in the home. They want to convince you that, oh, you have white privilege, you have male privilege, you have this, you that, but you really have privilege if you come from a two-parent household. Statistically speaking, you're way less likely, as she mentioned, to get involved with drugs. You're way less likely to drop out of school. You're way less likely to father kids out of wedlock. Like, you set yourself up for success so much more if you do have two involved parents.
You have much more privilege than any white privilege if you have an intact family. So a black child growing up with a father and a mother and an intact family has more privilege than a white child who's fatherless.
Yeah, and it's a solution that's like as simple as that, but they don't want you to realize
It's real
that.
basic stuff. And there's a huge argument that they always put up with it, which sounds patently insane to me. And I don't know what they're doing other than saying, look, if we do what you're saying about parents and kids and fatherlessness, then we're kind of out of a job.
Yeah.
So
who's going to be taking advantage of the welfare system?
Yeah, we spend your money on programs that don't work, and if dads stay at home, then we're not going to need to waste your money on programs that don't work because we don't need the program. So we're kind of out of a gig. That's number one. Number two, they would have to start judging certain communities who had less fathers in the home, and that's their constituency, and all they do is blow smoke up the tuchus of those people so they can get them to vote and then do nothing for them.
Absolutely. But hopefully it looks like they're losing part of that community this election round.
It'd be nice. Sabrina, let me give you a plug. PragerU, people should just go there and watch these really good 5-minute videos. And lest you think it's all political stuff, it's not. There's plenty of stuff on plenty of subjects. And you can essentially become an expert on a subject or an event in 5 minutes.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were even talking about earlier the difference between discipline and motivation. Motivation is fleeting, whereas discipline is consistent. And we have a whole 5-minute video on that. And it's funny because every time I work out and run, I hate running, but I run.
Right.
And I just think about that video. It's actually with Jocko Willink. So we've got a great library of videos, anything social, cultural, political, historical, economic. We're actually doing right now, it sounds so cheesy, but it's called an Econ 101 series where you literally just sign your email up, and every morning at the same time you're getting an email with an econ video, which I'm actually doing because I know very little about economics aside from socially what I've kind of put together, seeing, you know, like we talked about earlier on that other story with. So there's a lot of useful information out there.
Yeah, I agree. It's all there. I think I got 3 or 4 videos over there too, so you can check that out. And Instagram at Sabrina, and I'll spell it out, Kosmas, Kosmas. All right. Thank you very much for coming by, Sabrina. Rachel Feinstein, very funny comedian, got her stand-up special on Netflix, and we'll talk to her right after this. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Oh, my favorite. Love these guys. Yep, they're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and parts knowledge you need to maintain and repair your car. They've got thousands of parts and accessories in stock and online as well. So they have it in the store. You can buy it online, so you'll never have to worry if you're in a jam. The team at O'Reilly Auto Parts can test your battery for free in or out of your car. Well, it's easier to do it in your car, or you can bring it in, I guess. If it needs to be replaced, they'll help you find the right battery for your vehicle. Need your windshield wipers replaced, a brake light fixed, or a quick service? They'll help you find the right part or point you to the nearest local repair shop for help as well. Whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, friendly. Yes, nice people. The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop for all things auto, do-it-yourself, and you can find what you need in the store online, or you can go in yourself. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam.
I'm afraid of ending up with just some bearded man named Richard. He just speaks in like a therapist whisper, like, "Hi, my name's Richard. I don't like to be called Rick. I prefer Richard." Richard would have the body of a melting candle. And he would do the opposite of talking dirty. I feel like Richard would just interrupt sex to touch base a lot. He'd be in the middle of sex and he would just stop like, "Hey there, hey. How's it feeling over there, huh?" I feel like Richard's idea of talking dirty would be like, "I don't think we're doing enough to protect our national parks. What do you think, huh? You little slut, you like that, yeah?"
Rachel Feinstein is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Rachel's got a very funny stand-up special. It's called Big Guy. It's available on Netflix, and I watched it last night. Nice job.
Thank you. I was just saying, I was like, I always assume no one's seen it or knows who I am, and I'm just being hoisted on someone.
It's good. I'm
so glad you.
No, it's good. It's good to go through life that way.
Yeah, I'm always like, I'm sorry I'm here and I can leave early if that's helpful.
Well, not with extremely low self-esteem, but with just sort of managed expectations.
Yeah, humility.
Yeah, I think the problem is, I was speaking about in the first break, with the self-esteem movement is we get everyone, all the kids all built up.
Oh, I had a thought about that because I think it's insane.
Someone hands them a mop and goes, "Hey,
no, it's
clean the dining area." And they go, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You got to work." Yeah. And then they're like, "You don't know who I am." It's like, nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's got to suck.
I think it's all for the parents, those long speeches you're supposed to say to your kids. Like, so I was playing with my nephew and this other kid,
And then the kid just kept, every time they play together, he just punches the kid, right? Punches my nephew, rather. And he's raised by, and his mother has this sort of like gentle way she speaks to him with these long monologues. This kid doesn't give a fuck about anything she's rambling about. It's like for her. And she keeps saying to him, after he's just freshly punched my nephew, they were like, 2.5, 3.5 or something. She just kept saying, we don't hit in this house. This isn't a hitting home. And he's like, we do hit. I just punched Luca. He's like, I punched Luca.
I love the speech where they go, even like after the Trump near miss the other day, the people get to the microphone and they're like, Biden's like, this is totally unacceptable. Like Kamala Harris, like, this is unacceptable. We don't do this. It's never okay to do this in our country. Like it's like when they go, this is a 100% violence-free zone. It's a gun-free zone. It's like until someone brings a gun and now it's not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Like they go, way of talking.
We don't tolerate any of this. It's like, well, that kid's got a fat lip. Yeah, I know. We don't, but it's a zero. We have zero
you
tolerance.
Can't just state something and then it's true. I was watching somebody's Instagram and she's just like, it'll be like a command suddenly of something I have to feel a certain way about, and it's always just like this jarring kind of, I don't know, condescending command. Somebody was like, normalize spa days, and I'm like, first of all, when was that not normal to get a blowout? Well, I always feel like I have to put a bra on or something. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm just laying in bed all of a sudden. I'm like, I have an activity I have to do. What do I have to normalize? What are you talking about? Who doesn't think it's okay to have a blowout? There's always like an imaginary victim of an imaginary scenario.
I don't get.
You're just telling me you have money. I think.
Don't get any proclamations in general. Like when they go, it is never okay for anyone to put their hands on somebody. I understand that, but tell that to the fucking nut job in the subway. Like that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Who are you talking?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Exactly. I think a lot of times they're speaking to themselves. They're having an argument inside of their own heads.
I agree.
About something that they have some sort of foul urge to do.
My mom, who was a hippie, tried one of those BS new wave mom moves on me when I was like 9. She said, I must have been an asshole my whole life, but she goes, she must have read this in some book or something, but she goes, Adam, it's not that I don't like you. I don't like the things that you do. And I just said to her, I am what I do.
Yeah.
That is who I am.
Yeah,
like, I don't get why, if you don't like the stuff I do, then you don't like me, bitch. Because that's pretty much who I am.
And kids don't understand shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like a short and sweet. It's also a lot of like projecting these long, weird monologues. I had an oversharing mom with no boundaries, and she was always, and she's a doll. She's a lovely person. She just didn't have any boundaries. She overcorrected. My mom's dad was like, if you had an opinion at the dinner table, you were called a commie rat.
Oh, really? So your mom went hard the other direction.
Yeah, which is kind of fun.
What do you mean overshared?
Like my mom has no boundaries. So every time I'm alone with her, she tells me something sort of haunting that I never wanted to know. She'll have like one mudslide and be like, fine, there was a year when I considered leaving your father. And I'm like, I don't need to know this.
I 100,000,000% agree. I had hippie mom who did a lot of sharing. It's like they need to know the truth. You know what I mean?
Like, no, I don't want to know.
My grandmother shared too sexual things and stuff like that, and it was like I don't want to hear any of this ever.
My mom picking me up from a play date, and she's and my mom is like so liberal that it almost goes full circle and becomes racist again. Yeah. And she's a lovely person, I should say, but I give her some shit and special. But like she picked me up and she was like, I remember being like 11 or something from a play date. And she was like, did I tell you that her mother had left her father because he wasn't able to protect her during an attack that happened? And now she's with a man named Sundar. And she just wanted to say the name Sundar and like just really just jazz out to it. Right. She's like, she said Sundar was really able to open her up sexually, which Roger could never do for her. He just didn't do it. And then she was able to bloom that. I'm like, I need a fruit roll-up, bitch. I'm 11. What in God's name am I listening to right now? I think she just didn't have enough people to like unload these weird dark things. I'd be getting an ice cream cone and she'd be like, you see that? I noticed you were looking at her eye and that means that she's the victim of domestic. You saw some color around her eye. And I'm like, I didn't see any. I'm having a mint chip cone.
I hate this sort of fast track to adulthood of kids. You should believe in Santa and the Easter Bunny as long as you can. You should be a kid as long as you can be a kid. You don't need to figure out what's going on in Ukraine. You don't need to talk about, violence and domestic abuse and everything. And there's something, and it has to do with a kind of a progressive thought. And maybe it's just an extension of sort of being an atheist, which is, if you talk about the ultimate Easter Bunny and the ultimate Santa and the ultimate elf on a shelf, it's Jesus, Christianity, and I like those people. I'm not religious. I kind of wish I was. I got no qualms with them, but they raise their kid telling them like, hey, there's an eye in the sky and this is how it goes. I got raised by atheists. Atheists are like, there's nothing.
Yes,
you know what I mean? So I'm going to start telling you about rape and abuse and everything early because you don't need to believe in anything. We don't really keep this thing going,
Yeah.
If you're religious, you might start with Santa, you may move to the Easter Bunny, and then you're off to Jesus Christ for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be insulting, but what I'm saying is you believe in something that you can't see, let's say,
yes,
or doesn't
exactly.
you can't prove, But I got hit early and often with all the weird realities. The first thing is like when you got the hippie parents is it's the pure, global warming, ice age rolling in, Earth's going to be gone. Like I'm 9.
Yeah, no matter what.
I get it. Well, we're going to be out of fuel. There's going to be an ice age. When I was a kid, it was an ice age. Now it's global warming. But okay, we're all going to be frozen and living underground. I'm 9. Can I just enjoy myself for a few years before I learn all this?
My mom talked a lot to me about like racial suffering when I was
my mom.
Yeah, and I'm like, I can't, Mom. We can't do this right now. It's a lot.
I had to sit and watch all 7 episodes of Roots with my mom in like 1976, and every time like the boss man would come in, like the black people would just be sitting there minding their own business, and the boss man, the big white guy'd come in, he'd go, all right, someone's got to get a whooping. And my mom would just like look at me and go, do you see what we do? Do you see what we did? I'm like, Mom, we don't, for Carolla slave owners, we're renters. We don't own the house we're sitting in right now. We own nothing. There's no way anyone in our family owned a slave. That would have meant we had land or
she
something.
Would say we. My mom didn't do that.
She did
That's
a lot
intense.
of, oh man. And then as soon as we were done watching.
That'd be great if it just went full circle and she would just beat you for as if you'd just done that. You'd just been freshly arrested.
I want reparations, Adam. And then we'd watch Billy Jack. Okay, the 2 things my mom and I watched was Billy Jack. Billy Jack was a movie. You probably haven't seen Billy Jack. You're too young.
Thank you. Say that again on loop. Can you just
You're
play some?
way
loop that
too
later?
young
Thanks,
to
guys.
know Billy Jack. You can find the synopsis of Billy Jack, Joe, but Billy Jack was the most important movie of the 70s to all the hippies.
Okay.
It was basically Easy Rider in the 60s. I don't know, Easy Rider 68, 69, somewhere. Billy Jack, 70s. Billy Jack was the Easy Rider of the 70s. All right. Tom Laughlin, who's the whitest dude on the planet with blue eyes, played a karate expert who was like part Iroquois Indian and protected the Indians. The Indians just wanted to live in peace in a community, at a school on the hill, but every time they would come into town to get some ice cream, the white man would try to... You got to find the Billy Jack in the ice cream parlor scene. It's great. So black people were covered by Roots with my mom. My mom would just look and go, do you see what we did? Do you see what we did to these people? And then Billy Jack covered the American Indians.
Right.
That was about it. And in terms of the Asians, I guess we had Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But either way, my mom just sat there and went, do you see who we are? Like, as white people, I'm like, bitch, you're broke and on welfare, and you get food stamps, and you live in your mom's broken down house in North Hollywood. What are we doing again?
It's funny because I remember my mom telling me that she doesn't believe in the concept of sin and that we're born guilty, which is like, I understand the argument for that, right? But then you're making that argument when you say all that. I don't know. It's confusing. It's all conflicting. But she would, when my mom's talking to my mother-in-law, who's Colombian, my mom's not just talking to her. Her inner monologue is like, I'm talking to a Colombian woman. Like, she's almost so invigorated. Like, she's too excited. You know what I mean? And again, she has a good heart, but it's almost like where it's so liberal, it's almost racist. Like, she's just doing a Latin jig in her mind every time she talks to my mother-in-law.
Yes. No, I agree. My mom had it too, and her mom had it too, which is like a sprinkling of condescension in there. Like, these people can't take care of them. You know, we need to intervene so they can, you know. Also, with a more than a dusting of a lot of talk, but not a lot of action. My mom would watch Billy Jack, but never volunteer to go down to the reservation and bring muffins. She would just sit on her ass and go, do you see who we are? My grandmother had the exact same rap. Like, one time, like, it would always... They'd have these people. They always talked about the people and the
suffering,
the suffering and the poor people and stuff. But later on, they'd get like some Filipino nurse or some Mexican helper, or they're like, Alberto wants a raise to $9. I don't think so. You know, like, they would lowball the shit out of everybody.
I will say my mom walked the walk. She had a mechanic that she would call. She'd be like, Salvatore is having some terrible issues at home. They probably bought their car. They probably spent $60,000 on their broken down Datsun because my mom was very aroused by Salvatore and his early childhood. Okay. So they would pay people. I will say my parents were like the good old school Democrats in the sense that, like, my dad was he was a civil rights lawyer, but he was a federal prosecutor. Like, he believed in law. They did things. My mom was a social worker. She worked hard.
Better.
Yeah, they were kind.
They
were kind, but they were like almost too innocent. You know, like, my mom thinks when you leave, like,
naive.
She would put our address on our keys.
Right.
I'm not kidding. If lost, please return to the Feinstein family.
Well, they don't.
And come assault my daughter.
They don't really understand there's like kind of evil. They just think they're sort of misunderstood or raised the wrong way, or poor people they commit crime because they have to, kind of thing. Not slugging people on the subway. But all right, we have my grandmother once. That's my favorite thing. When I told her she had like some poor Salvadorian woman working for her, you know, and I told her one day when I bought a big house in the hills or whatever, and I said I bought a big mansion up in the hills, and she was like, Delia doesn't have a breakfast table. She said to me, that was her response to me buying a big one, and I was like, hey, bitch, she works for you. Buy her a table. That would never be done. She wanted to tell me that Delia didn't have a table. And it gets so weird after a while because at a certain point, you're the man. Hey, bitch.
Yeah, you are.
Now you're the man because you're in charge of paying Delia, and you won't pay her shit or not enough to get a table.
Yes.
But you love to take the holier than thou, like the high road route.
Yes.
Ugh. All right, Billy Jack.
She'll have a story. Like, my mom will be like, the whole story will just be like, she's always like, did I tell you that there's a marvelous gay couple, Art and his partner, that live in Greenwich Village? I'm like, the whole story is just, I know two gay guys that live in a place.
They love it.
You have to have something else in the story. That's not a fucking story.
My grandmother is the old school fruit fly.
Yeah.
Fruit fly, when they used to call them fag hags. She's like, she had gay friends, in the 40s and stuff, and she loved talking about it, you know.
Yeah, and I'm like, Mom, you have to have another ingredient in this, or it's almost bigoted again. Yeah.
You sucking cock is not enough to make you interesting.
Yeah, also, nobody says partner anymore. People say boyfriend. Partner makes me think of immediate, like, flip book of whatever sexual activities you're doing together. Like, I'm just seeing a series of filthy images in my mind. Just say, boy, give him that dignity and add something to the fucking tail. Do some writing.
My grandmother's she never stopped talking about Harry Hay, who was like a grandfather of the gay movement, who's like one of the early cross-dressers or whatever. And it's like, Harry would show up to a party in a dress. Harry and his partner, Harry's gay, you know. And then all it is me going, yes, you're progressive. Yes, you don't judge. Yes, you're better than everyone because you hung around with gay guys.
They're just thinking about while they're talking to them, like, I'm talking to a gay man and his partner in Greenwich Village.
We got a picture. Okay, we got a picture of Harry Hay wearing beads and a skirt. And Harry was
he looks furious.
Harry was a colossal douchebag asshole. He was a self-absorbed asshole douche who used to show up to my grandparents' house and be an asshole. Lionel is gay. I work with Lionel. He works at the VA. Lionel and his partner, they're gay. Lionel was a snobby asshole. He was an asshole who I hated. I didn't care if he was gay. He was an asshole. My grandmother only liked him so she could say that Lionel was gay.
I'm like, Mom.
He's gay. And he brought his partner he was a stuck-up, conceited, prickly asshole who I disliked, and I hated Harry Hay too, but they would have to show up to my grandmother's party so she could announce they were gay.
It's exactly true. Yeah, they want their token person. Like my dad, my mom's speech at my wedding was mainly about immigration, and I'm like, she didn't mention like me or my husband once. It was hilarious. She's like, this is terrific. This is what America's about. We've got Colombia. Like she was Oprah just calling out races, and she was like, we've got Ireland, and it was just all like half was just drunken firemen, and then half was drunken comics, and like I was like, who's this for? And also like my husband's family is not thinking about like what country they're from. She's like, we got Colombia, we've got Guatemala over there. So all these like lifetime like supposedly dear friends of hers are just being called out by their like, we've got the gay art and his partner in the left wing. It's completely insane.
I think it's the whole narcissism and grandstanding, though. My grandmother, these guys were assholes, and she only hung around with them because they were gay, so she could tell you they were gay.
Right.
So it was about her.
It was about her, right.
And then all the other people at the party were miserable because they had these self-important douchebags who are ordering people around. All right.
Well, I asked my brother, sorry, one last thought about this. Yeah. I asked my brother because he, about the Latinx thing, because he works in a store in like in a school in that like Spanish Harlem, sort of similar kind of neighborhood in DC. And he works with kids in the inner city that have a cocktail of like really extreme and immediate problems in their lives. And I said, Aaron, do they talk about all that stuff about like Latinx, and did they get really into all that language stuff? Do they have arguments about what you can say and what you can't say? And my brother's like, no, they're thinking about basic things. Like they're not thinking about any of this shit. What their title is, what they're called. He's like, no, they're thinking about like food and violence nearby.
Yeah. And Latinx and that. Yeah, they have problems. They have real problems that we don't have.
Needs. Yeah.
No, this was illustrated perfectly. About 10 years ago, I was watching 60 Minutes, and Anderson Cooper was in some impoverished village somewhere in Ethiopia, and they were talking about this revolutionary thing that was nourishing the kids, but it was based on, it's called Plumpy Nut. It's peanuts. It's a little Mylar pouch of peanut butter, crushed up peanuts, powdered milk, and powdered sugar, I think, and it was bringing all the kids back to life. And Anderson Cooper, whose mom's like Gloria Vanderbilt or something. It's like, what he says to the poor guys running the mission, trying to take these kids with these distended bellies, and bring them back to life. He's like, but what about peanut allergies? And he's like, Anderson, we don't have time. We just don't have time for your made up white person bullshit. These people are fucking dying over here. That's a thing that you guys have because you're out of problems, but they're dying. So
they're really dying right now. Yeah, so we're really not interested in that. Yeah, they're not throwing snacks back at us.
Right. This isn't a fucking Southwest flight.
This isn't a Delta flight. Exactly.
Right. The great comedic minds. All right. I'll play you Billy Jack. The synopsis is a part Indian Vietnam vet. There's no part of Indian that Tom Laughlin. His name is Laughlin. He's named after a city white people get drunk at. He has like gray blue eyes. There's no whiter guy than Tom. I am more Indian than Tom Laughlin is, but he plays a Vietnam vet, part Indian, who kicks bigots' asses, basically.
And he's a white guy playing the part. This is tremendous.
Half Indian.
Okay.
But this is the scene where the Indian kids and the kids from the school, the Freedom School up on the hill, come down into the city to just get some ice cream on a Saturday. And here's how people treated them.
Yeah.
White guy who walks in. Oh, this is after they beat on all the Indians.
There now. Everybody is white. Harry,
hold on. My mom would look at this and go, did you see what we do? This is what we do. I'm like, Mom, we don't do this. This doesn't exist. It's North Hollywood. It's 1975.
Well, I don't even understand what's going on. This is amazing.
What goes on, and this is after, it goes, I think, a little before this. By the way, racist business owners, economically doesn't make sense. You know, like 18 little Indian kids come in and they go, we'd like to get a triple scoop. And like, we don't serve your kind here. It's like, all right, then you don't make any money on a Saturday. They go in to get some ice cream, and the local guys don't like it. By the way, this is the 70s.
Look,
this isn't the 30s.
Cones, please.
He wants ice cream.
Sorry, I'm all out of cones.
You just served the kids ahead of us.
Listen, you godless whore.
Uh-oh, she got the cones from behind the counter.
You're a liar.
Uh-oh, now he's turned on.
You're a smart little punk, aren't you?
Hey, hold it. Come on, you guys. There's no need for all this violence. It's a simple problem, really. Harry, look, I know you worked hard to own your own store, and you feel you should have a right to serve whoever you want to, right?
Right.
Okay.
He's angry.
What little Miss
It's 1973 and people want ice
She wants
cream.
you to serve her non-white friends. Well, you damn well better serve her non-white friends. That doesn't sound like an insurmountable problem. Hey, Dinosaur, bring me some of that flour over there.
Wait, his name's Dinosaur.
That's a nickname. So this guy sells ice cream and flour.
Simple solution is simply to make Miss Upyour's non-white friends white.
So he dumps flour on all the Indian kids.
All right.
By the way, pause it for a second. Think what a calorie burner being a full-time racist is.
So
you
he
know
just
what I
brings
mean?
around this dumb sack of flour all day to make his points.
I think they had flour available. You know, sometimes when you buy a cone and the guy goes, you want sprinkles, you want Jimmy's, you're like, just some baking, just some flour. Just dump flour on the cone, roll it in flour instead of Jimmy's. So now Tom Laughlin comes in because he does not tolerate. I think in this equation, my mom looked at herself as a Tom Laughlin, but only if Tom Laughlin never got off the sofa. But she spiritually, she was with Tom, but not that she would ever go anywhere and enforce any rules or anything. So Tom Laughlin comes across the street. Uh-oh. Here comes Tom Laughlin. Now, Tom Laughlin was a judo actor. He was a karate
Before you try anything, you're in our territory now. With the sheriff nearby.
I like the frozen girl with their dumb powder face.
Bernard, the sheriff is out at the school.
Also,
go get my dad.
The antagonist in the movie is
Have someone get the sheriff.
Is the guy who looks like a poor man's Richard Gere, but his name is Bernard. And Tom Laughlin can't say his name in this movie. He's like, Bernard. But his name's Bernard. His name is Bernard, and he just goes, Bernard. He won't say Bernard.
I feel like there's so many porns in this that we're missing out on, and it all feels like the beginning of a porn. It just like low rent costumes.
If you want to know what the 70s was, watch this film. That's what the 70s was. My mom's raison d'etre was this film, and she just sat there and went, this is us. We just beat up on Indian kids. We're so horrible. All right, wait, we'll hear him say Bernard one more time.
Someone get the sheriff.
I told you it was a porn.
He's pissed.
He's
now
had it.
He tries to be a pacifist, but he can't because he sees the pain. He's stewing. You know what I mean? There he goes. He's getting burned.
He's got to fix his hair.
His name is Bernard. Bernard.
I want you to know
Bernard.
that I try.
He doesn't want to kick the shit out of everyone in the
kids
town.
At the school tell me that I'm supposed to control my violent temper.
You can't.
And be passive and nonviolent like they are.
Uh-oh.
I try. I really try.
But he goes berserk.
So when I see...
Come on, move it along. This kind of human suffering. Continue.
By the way, pause it for a second. He takes 20 minutes to spit out the next 7 words, but he can't say Bernard. He doesn't have the time to say Bernard. He goes Bernard.
I do feel like something's wrong with him separately. Like he had a long night last night, blowing hookers. Something happened before this because he's just real foggy. What cocktail of medications is he on? First of all,
You don't understand 70s acting.
Oh, it goes real slow like this?
70s acting was the difference. You know, like back in the 40s was like, hey, man, hey, blah, 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 blah.
The 70s was a lot of heavy pauses.
Bernard.
Bernard is amazing.
You can make a montage of him fucking up Bernard's name in this movie. Was there a first AD who could have just walked out there and went, hey, Tom, listen, yeah. You wrote the script. Uh-huh. You named this guy Bernard. Yeah. Well, you have to say it.
It's a terrible line too. They're truly trying to show like how his character is changing, but he's spelling it out to, like the entire thing. He's like, well, it used to be if it was like this, I'd behave in this way, but now when I see violence in front of me, I can't contain my. Who says that before you punch someone? Just do it or don't.
You gotta watch because he's gonna go off on Bernard and Caveman.
So degraded. And when I see this boy, I love him. Sprawled out by this big ape here. And this little girl, who is so special to us that we call her God's little gift of sunshine.
That's a mouthful.
And I think of the number of years she's going to have to carry in her memory.
Oh, how about Chris Carolla poisoning young Adam?
Savagery of this idiotic moment of yours.
It's one word, just idiotic.
I just go berserk.
He beats everyone with karate. He kicks. He's seen karate chopping. He's using a chop. He's using a chopping. Also, the 70s was all about the chop. It was about the karate chop.
The girls are so serene.
It wasn't about the fist. By the way, I'm sure the racist who runs the ice cream store has a pistol somewhere.
Yeah,
like, when he just shot him 20 minutes into his soliloquy. Bernard, ow! Yeah, I shot you. All the fucking karate chopping in the world is useless to my 9mm. If you want to know what the 70s was.
My brother chopped me a lot, too.
You give it a karate chop?
Chopping. Yes. He was always putting me, everything was called Chinese and then whatever the torture was. So it would be like Chinese sock torture. And then he would go, like, make a series of strange, what he considered race, Asian-esque sounds. He'd be like, Hanasai. And then he'd just take his dirty sock off and put it on my face. And then in the pool, he'd be like, Chinese water torture. And then he'd just put my dumb head under the water and scream like, Hanasai or some utter horseshit.
Weird, all the torture kids used to inflict upon.
My brother was obsessed with everything. Was like, he would announce the torture first. And then now he's like this very like just nebbishy kind of like mild man. But when I was a kid, he was always just bright red and furious. I was my whole childhood. I was just in a half Nelson. I was never not being Nelsoned.
You sort of toggle between the full and the half Nelson.
Yes.
Occasionally, if your brother was feeling generous, a quarter Nelson.
Yeah, it was always so jarring. I was like, this guy furious.
The Billy Jack, I just go berserk line where you start beating the person up was oftentimes reenacted by me and my friends on like the front lawn. You know, like I just go berserk, and then it's like headlock, jumping on the guy's head. You know. Yeah, this was my childhood. Billy, goddamn Jack, and Roots. Have you seen Roots?
I've never seen Roots, no.
Roots is disturbing, and it was a 7-part series. It was must watch. It was appointment watching in the 70s. Roots was what year? I'm going to go Billy Jack, 73, 74. Roots, 75, 76. But
my mom was a little more into the morose stuff. It would be like I was always watching like somebody she knew that was sick that I didn't know. I remember her playing some weird funeral tape of some woman who was like, I'm leaving on a jet plane. And she was like, did I tell you that Linda has leukemia? And I'm like, Mom, can I play outside? I don't want to watch this bitch's like leukemia farewell video. This is a lot. I think the thing was, and at least with my mom, is I think at the time she was probably a little depressed. She needed to be on like a cocktail of medications. Otherwise, she wouldn't just be replaying her child.
Yeah.
I'm leaving on a jet plane.
Yeah, the one thing I got from my horrible bummer family is not to be a horrible bummer in front of my kids. Keep it light.
Come on.
Have some fun. Screw around with them a little bit, which I would always do. Look, you're going to be a kid once. Laugh it up a little. And you'll learn about all the horrific. You'll learn who Boko Haram is later on, and you'll learn about all the global warming, and you can get all these horrible images and messages later on.
Yeah.
But for this little window.
But yeah, enjoy yourself, for fuck's sake. I always try to, I say to my daughter, and I'm struggling as much as any parent to figure anything out, but I'm kind of a mess, so I'm not really good with keeping everything super organized. But I'm always telling her, if she doesn't want to do something, I'm like, you have to do this. It's something you have to do. But you could be silly while you're doing it. Just do it. Just have a laugh. But mock it if you want inside. But just be silly.
Yeah,
is how I put it to a 4-year-old. But I do feel like sometimes I'll watch these parenting videos where they say, there's one lady that says, every time your daughter wants something, just say to her, she's missing that empathy. Say, you really wish that you could have a third fucking ice cream cone. And I'm like, no, that's first of all, it's almost like I'm taunting her. Just say no. Somebody asked, what is an answer that I can give my daughter that doesn't include the word no? This was actually asked on a parenting thing. I was like, are you insane? She'll kill herself. She'll take her own life if she can't hear no before she's 16. Why would you be avoiding the word no? It's so simple.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is what I used to love. I love when Alyssa Milano goes, I would go into my daughter's room at night, lay with her in bed, and weep for her future. And I'm like, you're going to fuck this chick up.
Yeah, it's not
She's going to have an eating disorder by 9, bitch. You live in Bel Air. How about you? Your house has 8 climate zones in it. She'll land on her feet. I'm sure. But and I don't know if people are just saying that or they actually do it.
I don't know. I will say, I don't want to be one of those. I'm about to just be that person rather than say I'm not. I'm obviously live in the East Coast, so I do feel like it gets a little crazier here. In the cellar, if you say half of this shit, you're gonna get trashed, And comics are comics,
cellar.
I do feel like it gets a little crazier and more careful here. Whereas I do feel like, at least where I live, I don't know. I mean, I live in Queens, but it's I do feel like it's very working class, and people are. People don't give a shit how you talk as much on the East Coast. I find that.
I agree. Can I take all the pressure off many parents? And maybe it's convenient, but I have a sister. We're completely different, and we don't really share any of the same qualities, and we led very different lives. And not bad versus good, just utterly different.
Are you close?
No one in my family is what you could call close because it was a sort of fractured every man for themselves mess, sort of like if you were on a cruise ship and it was sinking and you go, were you close to people on it? It's like, I was kind of looking for a lifeboat, knocking someone out of the way. I pulled a life preserver off a retarded kid. You know what I mean? Well, were you guys close? Nah, we're kind of, it was every man for I was trying to find food and stuff to do, So nobody was close in my family because everyone was just look at trying to survive, essentially.
Yeah.
But as we got older, we've got closer and we figured it out. But I was always just who I was, and she was who she was, and I got twins, boy, girl. One's who he is, and she is who she is, and that's who they are, and that's who they remain being. And there's really not a lot. And I really don't know people who have even changed, ostensibly. Like, you're talking about your mom, you're talking about my mom. My mom took this bullshit to the grave.
Right.
So she was just as however she is at 89 as she was at 39,
Right.
And my dad's basically like my dad, and all the guys I went to high school with are just, I don't know anyone who's really changed. I know people who've got more successful.
I think especially older people, from my experiences, like older people from our parents' generation, they don't, they're not like revisiting much. They're just at a certain point, they just start kind of rocking in a corner, and you just hope, but I don't know. But
I know people who
feel like
made some alterations. There's people like, I quit drinking, or something. But in general, I don't know anyone who's any different than they sort of were.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't know how much input as a parent you really get. My mom.
Right. I see what you're saying.
My mom had zero impact on my life. My dad had zero impact on my life. But they didn't need to. I was just doing. I wanted to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it.
Were you were you rebellious as a kid? Were you a good student? Were you? What?
No, I wasn't. Well,
did you have an idea when you woke up, like, I'm getting the fuck out of here and I'm going to figure it out? Or like, what do you mean by you grew?
I was like, these two are losers. I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm not doing what they do. These guys are providing a roadmap to me for what not to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be like these two, because I'm looking around and they live in, it's squalor and they live shit, and like, I'm saying, hey, could I have 50 cents for a snow cone? And like 50 cents is a lot of money, son. And it's like, okay, I'm not doing that. Yes. I'm not going to be an adult. My kid asked me for 50 cents.
My parents were violently cheap. When we had to go to the Renaissance Fair, my dad would make us dress like lords. It was so humiliating. I had to wear like tights. I was like pubescent. I was like,
wait a second. Renaissance Fair. All right, you started by saying when we had to go to the Renaissance Fair. Now, there's nobody who has to go to the Renaissance Fair. And I may take your parents' side on this one.
Okay, fair enough.
I will say this, and I've yelled it at producer Joe over here, which is like, people do a lot of like, my dad used to make us.
Well, I'm not saying
whatever.
You should play soft piano music for me. I was still having an ice cream cone at the Renaissance Fair.
No, but, I will let you get into that story. But I'm saying people that have some beef with their parents about my dad made me do this or make us all do that.
I see what you're saying. It's character building.
He'd do this. No. I'm just saying you got to grow up with a parent who does nothing ever to really experience what that is. Sometimes I go like, I'll talk to people and go, we had to go on this stupid vacation where we all got in the station wagon, we go to the water park, and nobody wanted, it's like, hey, you got in the station wagon and went to a water park.
Hey, that's better than getting raped.
That's better than getting raped.
Some people got raped.
I had a Tipperilla put out on my ass right before I was violated, okay? And you were at a shitty water park. Well,
that's fair.
That's fair.
I completely agree with you.
Now tell me about the Renaissance Fair.
But what I'm saying is just that and I don't think it stemmed from anything at all, except that he was just cheap. Like he had, I think he had a rubber band from his money to his wallet. Like he just couldn't quite let it go.
Back.
Yeah, he had a theory that you don't have to wash denim. The denim is somehow self-cleaning. I'm like, Dad, you stink. You smell poorly.
Where does the Renaissance Fair
Okay, the Renaissance Fair was, for some reason, all our vacations, we did have shitty vacations, and I don't think that I'm a victim because of this, but it was still infuriating nonetheless. There's sadder stories than my shitty vacations. My mom took us to outlet. My mom took us outlet shopping so she could go to the Liz Claiborne outlet, and so that was kind of our vacation. So I don't think it's a tragic tale, I mean, but I didn't starve. No one beat me. Was it fun? No, I think that I would probably have some more fun with my kid. But they took us to the Renaissance Fair. The fee was $7. My dad's like, oh, not for this family. I'm not paying it.
Why would he go to the Renaissance Fair?
I think honestly, just because they did whatever was, cheap-ish nearby. I don't think there was any education that they were trying to teach us.
Okay.
But my dad decided that if we dressed like lords, that apparently there was some special loophole where you could get in for $350. So I would wear
not even free, just half price.
$350. And I was like, Dad, I'm not comfortable. I'm like 12. I don't want to wear I was like going through puberty. I don't want to wear tights with a half tee.
Right.
My dad's like, oh, you're gonna dress like a goddamn lord or you're not going.
Wow.
So I think that he was kind of cheap where it was a sickness and less of a necessity. I'm sure it was character building for me. I think definitely, but I think it was a little confusing. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know what the Renaissance Fair is all about. I run a little dumb with this kind of stuff. Can you explain?
It's so fat chicks can show off their tits. That's really what it distills down to, because fat chicks usually have a big rack, but it's outdone by their sizable ass. But for this 1 or 2 days out of the year, they get to go full tits and cleavage and then something real billowy down below.
I see. Fair enough.
And
we'll let them have their goddamn day. Come on, Adam.
Give them their day. Yeah, because Halloween isn't do it for the fat chicks with the big tits. And and office attire, they just look fat.
Sure.
But Renaissance Fair is, and it's a kind of waist up affair. It's a lot of guys eating turkey legs, drinking gruel or mead, and they're kind of it's a torso based fair. They don't really. It's not a downstairs type affair.
I will tell you this: there was a lot of men in blouses and rings. Nothing grosses me out more than a man wearing a lot of rings or some sort of amulet that gives him strength. It's disgusting.
Yes.
I don't want to hear the story behind your dumb necklace, your hemp necklace. It infuriates me.
Guys in jewelry in general, I don't get.
Yeah, and again, this is, for me, I'm speaking very personally. Not my type. If a man has to choose his rings from some sort of ring tray by his bed, nothing disgusts me more than a man being like, what'll it be today? My mood ring? Or maybe it's disgusting. I can't.
Who are the guys? All right. Which guy could you not hang out with more?
Okay.
Big silver skull jewelry guy, skull ring, hey, Harley, weird skull guy.
Violently unattractive, both of them.
Weird big silvery scully guy, or tons of string bracelets that, my daughter made this for me, and then my son made this.
No.
Which one? But you got to hang out with one.
Collection of
you got to
shells.
sleep with one of them. Which is it? Is it tons of bracelet guy?
I guess the skull, but I
Silver
really don't care
guy?
for a skull, not one bit.
Well, that's why you got to play the game.
I don't like, personally, my taste. I don't like anything ironic with my men. Here's where I know if I like what a guy's wearing. I don't want to remember it. I shouldn't remember what you're wearing. It shouldn't have been a series of sassy risks you took one day. I don't like a lot of.
I agree.
Yeah, no,
I don't
just
know
wear
anything.
a shirt. You shouldn't know a lot about shirts. You should call a dress a skirt by accident. I don't want to see a lot of fucking sassy celebrational risks you took. I don't like blouses. No.
I don't like knowing anything about anybody any of the time.
Exactly.
I don't like tongue piercings. I don't like tattoos of grandkids or dead uncles or whatever.
I think it's all foolish, personally. Yeah.
I was walking down PCH yesterday, and there was a car parked there, and it stopped. It was just parked. There wasn't anyone in it. It had something on the bumper sticker. Now, Joe, you're going to have to look for this. I didn't take a picture of it, but the bumper sticker said, in essence, and it was written in 2 different kinds of fonts. So it took me, I had to kind of stop, and I have hypervigilance. I can't pass a car with a bumper sticker and not stop and go, what is this bumper sticker?
It's going to be funny.
And it said next time you get this close to my behind, make sure you pull my hair. And I stood there it was naive. I just stood and I looked at it. I was like, pull your hair.
And then the sadness.
Doggy position. And I had to think about.
Can you imagine purchasing that and then staying there for 7 years? That's on the back of your car.
Civic,
Speaking of godless whores, come on now.
And I was like, why do I have to decipher that? And now I'm picturing doggy style. And why would you put that on your car?
Or those rules to dating my daughter shirts are amazing. Because there's so many rules. It's like, whatever you do to my daughter, you're going to do to me first. And in the end, it almost feels like the guy and him are going to fall in love if they do all the fun loving adventures that you did with his daughter.
Yes, here's what it said, if you're going to ride my ass, at least pull my hair.
Oh, God bless. God bless
and
her.
I just stood there on PCH. And it was so enjoyable with the ocean and the breeze and the gulls above. And I was just thinking about someone getting plugged in the ass, you know. And also, then I had to think, is it a dude who owns this car?
I would think it was a woman.
Chick?
That's a really good...
you mathematically, you would hope it's a woman, but I don't know. Do you know any ladies who would put this on the back of their Camry?
No, they'd have to be such rag
Feels like a dude
What
move.
kind of deep bathroom guttural whore?
Also, I mean, what if there's a family of like Jehovah's Witnesses behind you on the freeway going to see Nana in hospice care? Do you know what I mean? You really think they want this information? Kids crying. We have to say goodbye to Nana today.
I wonder if it's a guy or a girl. I don't know. Am I allowed to go to the men in that booth? Can we just go to a caller? Tammy from Des Moines, you tell us. No, do you guys think it's a guy or a girl? Am I allowed to speak to them?
I should have waited by the car to figure out who.
It's got to be a girl.
Okay, yeah, right.
It's got to be a girl. All right.
And you said it was in 2 different colors. This seems to be the other one.
This one was written in handwriting, but it was 2 different fonts. And again, I had to stop and decipher it.
It's ridiculous. Also, anybody that's really focused on how can you stay with that joke for 7 years? This is unacceptable. She's gonna have that dumb sticker on her car. She's gonna drive to a funeral with that. You know.
I'm gonna find out.
Somebody close to her is going to pass away, and that'll be the car she pulls up to the dumb funeral.
We do have a picture. You can find it, Dawson, and then we'll bring Brett in. There was a Malibu picture. I took a picture. This Dawson will remember. I took a picture of a car that was parked in Malibu, but it was covered with dust for so long, and somebody drew a giant cock on the hood. And the guy didn't wash it off for several months, and it wasn't just a picture of a giant cock on the hood. The cock was orgasming. It was something was shooting out.
Stars.
And I'm like, do you need the part where semen is flying out of the cock? It's not offensive enough. And that thing stayed there on PCH for months. And the guy who owned the car never hosed it off.
He saw it, or maybe he enjoyed it. I mean, it's so dumb. Every time that's terrific. Oh, there's a guy gulping it? This is insanity.
There's a guy.
I love that there's a guy waiting for it. Like, he's like, oh, finally the cum. I was so very thirsty.
There's a dick with a hand on it firing a load into a bald guy's mouth. And it just lived. This is Malibu, everybody. This is in Malibu. On a Porsche. Lived there for months. I used to pass it on the way to the beach all the time.
That's terrific.
Is there a neighbor who could just take some initiative and just come out? I don't know, a bottle of water would cure this. You know what I mean? This
is why
dump it on the hood.
Every time I'm ever I do something like some Comedy Central appearance years ago where there's like a poster for it. I'm like, I'm just going to get dicked. What's the point? There's always going to be a dumb
someone's
dick
just going to draw a dick in your mouth.
I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah, you're right.
Everything, they're going to blacken one of my dumb teeth, and then I'm just going to be covered in dicks. So what's the point? Why even have the poster? Just for there to be a barrage of dicks over my fun-loving Comedy Central face.
You should do the promo shoot with a dick in your mouth just to go, you know what, I'm leaning into this.
My grandma said the same thing.
You know, it's really, if you really want to be successful, you do the whole thing with this picture with the dick in your mouth. You put a cock right there, and then show business will come to you. It's the last word before she died.
You. All right, Brett Gelman, actor, writer, comedian, author, is out there. Rachel, you want to hang out?
Sure.
All right, hang out. We'll talk to Brett and Rachel right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Ace Man, get it on. I feel like in the 90s, every other commercial about laundry detergent involved grass stains. Whatever happened to grass stains? Get it on.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Rachel Feinstein's hanging in. Brett Gelman is in studio. Actor, writer, comedian, now author. Probably best known from Stranger Things, but tons of movies and Curb Your Enthusiasm, Mad Men, Twin Peaks, going back.
Yeah.
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 Grass stains.
That's a good question.
Well,
what happened to grass
kids
stains?
Don't play outside anymore, and if they do, we don't let them roughhouse, because it's like toxic masculinity. So they just stand, they sit indoors and play video games, and what they do is they spill like Sunny D on them or something, but they don't get grass stains. If you look back on like Tide commercials and detergent commercials like from the 70s, it was just kids rolling in mud.
Yeah.
They literally just rolled down a grass hill into a mud pit.
Yeah.
And then the mom would always be standing over the washing machine shaking her head. Those kids.
I wasn't even the most physical kid, and I still had a lot of grass and dirt stains all over me all the time.
I was pretty rancid. I still am.
It was a big deal. I played Pop Warner footballs. Like, it was always grass stains, like everywhere. And not only are kids sitting in air conditioning, playing video games, getting fat, so thus no grass stains, but a lot of artificial turf. Half the high schools got the fake turf down now. No grass stains.
You don't have to water the turf.
Yeah.
Is that the reason why?
Yeah, it's cheaper, big picture, stays good year round, but no grass stains.
Yeah.
And also they would do, you can find one of those like 70s Tide commercials. Kids were just literally sliding through
It did
mud.
feel like it was always one woman with 8 boys.
Right. And a super
Just one
lazy
fatigued
husband.
looking woman.
Yeah, and she was always left there by the washing
With
machine to
one
like
rag.
shake her head. And they also do weird, there was ones where there was like grass stains, but there was one that was like, takes out blood. And I'm like, well, what's going on with your 9-year-old? Did you get shanked in the, where was he, on the schoolyard?
Well, you never know what was lurking in that grass,
And
you know?
There was one, I swear to you, from my childhood that said, well, takes out, they were like pouring iodine or something. And I'm like, what is this stain? It's
iodine in the wash?
In as a stain. Like, it'll take this out, too.
Well, maybe that went along with the blood, right? Because you get bloody, then you put iodine on the blood.
Maybe that's,
And then that gets all over the clothes. I remember, I would get like a grass stain so easily. I'd like sit down on the grass, and then I'd go home and I'd have a grass stain.
And did your mom stand over the washing machine shaking her head?
No. She was glad whenever I was talking to anybody and not, in the basement being a fucking weirdo. Yeah. No, anything that got me unglued from the couch, she was very happy about.
Were you introverted?
I'd say like, on and off, but not very well liked, I would say. I think
Not popular.
Weird. Not popular. I was, I wasn't like an athlete. I wasn't that into sports.
They were
I think
jealous.
growing up in
They were
Chicago.
jealous
Yeah,
of you.
that's the reason they were jealous.
Rachel's mom will tell you they were jealous.
They could feel my future energy.
Can we put these two things to bed? These two thoughts that were a big part of our childhood, I guess. And can we just two thoughts that we should never float ever again? For the nerdy, introverted, fat kid, they were jealous. Okay, no, they were not jealous.
No, they
thought you were weird.
They thought I was weak.
And to all our loser friends, fear of success. It's like, no, fear of hard work. All my loser friends would like to be successful. They don't have a fear of success. They have a fear of the work it would take to become successful. That's why they're not successful, but they would love to be successful.
I can't totally disagree.
I can't either. I was more of I've always been kind of like a gelatinous smear when it comes to wanting to get up and do a lot of things. But I think you were talking about this earlier in the program. I do feel like I am pretty lazy, but so I make my life easier so that I can go work somewhere. I'll take a lot of cabs and waste my money on cabs so I can hurl myself someplace to work hard, because I know that I'm naturally kind of worthless. I try to work within that rather than make excuses.
What I really wished that I thought when I was a kid was that I was like, well, I don't really want to play because I hate these fucking kids. They're mean and stupid.
Were you like an old soul?
I mean, I don't know if you should call yourself that, but maybe.
Were you writing? Did you write a lot? And were you one of those kids that like covered their very creative work? I feel like one of the guys had like one hand curled around what they were doing. They were smarter than other people.
No, I would like maybe sometimes like doodle, but then just be dreaming of being somewhere else or being worried of what the mean asshole kids were thinking of me. I wanted to have friends so bad, like I really wanted to have friends. But because of that need to have friends, I wound up settling for dickhead kids a lot of the
Where'd
time.
you grow up?
The suburbs of Chicago.
So you and Cusack were over there.
Highland Park,
Has Cusack
Illinois.
gone insane?
Yeah, I think so.
He's gone nuts? Good.
Yeah, I think a little bit.
And you know what?
That's such a funny question.
When people go insane.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know him. I don't know him.
Here's what we got to hope
speak for him and his family.
John Cusack has
List his
gone mentally
medications.
insane.
You know why I love it? I
Yeah.
like it when people get a head start on going insane because he's relatively young. And now you have to picture him at 84 years old and how batshit crazy he's going to be. Like the kind of shit he's going to be saying when he's 85 is going to be 10 times crazier than the crazy shit he's talking about now, which is going to be awesome for us.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, he really went on the pro-Hamas ride, right?
I don't even
crazy with that.
I don't even follow him that closely. I just got he's gone nuts, which I enjoy.
I didn't know that. That's
you didn't
wild.
know the Cusack went nuts?
No, I'm not name dropping, but I'm about to say the dumbest thing possible. No, I
name drop. Go ahead.
No, it's not name dropping. It's just stupid. I was making fun of myself, but I matched with him on Raya a long time ago before I got married.
You matched with Cusack on Raya?
But wasn't like
that was a joking name drop. Like I was making fun of myself. No, but as I was saying this, I was like, "There's no need to say this out loud."
Did you text with him on Raya at all?
I think so, but
banter?
I don't remember any of the banter. I just think I never went out with anybody on Raya. So anybody that I've ever matched with on Raya, I pre-resent because I just feel like there was so many just spotless, beautiful, perfect women, and all the men would sort of engage me, and then immediately, I'm sure he just threw me out right away.
All right, is Raya considered sort of the celebrity dating app? Is that?
I met my wife on Raya.
Are you shitting me?
I really did.
Fuck.
I did, but it was the only.
I found everybody such assholes. So
no,
I'm
everybody
interested.
was except her.
What's
and then
going on?
And then
I want to
fell in
know
love with her, and
I want to know all
I think
about
guys
Raya.
meet people on Raya, okay, and women, I
think
you're
Raya is
fucked.
like fake
it's
famous.
for men.
There's a lot of like CEOs.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what are you a CEO of?
So, like,
Nothing.
if I talk to Bob Raya, the guy who invented it,
Is his name Bob Raya?
I'd like to think so.
I like
Okay.
it.
Let's just say that. I hope so.
If I talk to the guy who invented Raya and just went, how would you describe what this is? Would you call it a celebrity dating app, or what would you call it?
No, there's also other people with it. Like there's
successful?
like furniture designer. Like there's people with all kinds of different kind of like
So,
sleek, cool careers. And then
he'd have something where he'd go, well-heeled, discerning gentlemen come to this. Like, is it rich guys?
Same words for a strip club, basically.
Yeah.
I think it's like more exclusive, more private, he would probably say. What I would say is it's a grift. It's a
But you now obviously you made the Raya cut because
I
you're
did.
notable because of all the work you've done. But do you have to?
I bet his inbox was just, excuse me, please correct me, just a sea of just the hottest greased, I don't know why they have to be pre-greased, but just like the hottest, right? Women, you probably got one.
I mean, like
any guy that's like established, I feel like you're going to get. Your
I mean,
pick of
sometimes, but like not like overly so. No, it's always like I always got to put the work in though. But
Sure.
I luckily met
your lovely
my
wife.
Yeah, exactly.
So how's the process, the review work to see if you get in? just drop a few, like a little resume on them?
No, I think like somebody like suggested me or like invited me and they approved the invite. No, I didn't have to do anything. If I had to do a bunch of stuff, I don't think I would have done it.
But the person that invites goes, you know this guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, this guy's cool. They probably look me up. You know? I mean, what the fuck else are they doing in those offices? They don't, you know, I don't think we need to do that much work. They need to like make their money and show that they have a right to have a job.
Once you have a profile,
you do
just,
the research.
Yeah, you're just throwing it. You just throw against the wall. I think I also matched with some NFL player that has like 9 kids or something. I can't remember.
That's cool. Marty.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go out with any of them.
So you, so Cusack slides into your DMs or whatever kids are saying. I don't know. But Cusack hits you up on Raya?
Yes, I'm already regretting saying all this. Yeah.
Well, it's out. Look, this is a long time ago.
He's a great actor.
I'm in the winter of my life now.
He's a great actor.
Oh, I just watched Serendipity. Holds up.
Did you just say you're in the winter of your life?
Yes, I don't know.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Thanks, guys.
That's racist. Don't say that.
I'm just being stupid. I'm just like, I'm saying, trying to distance. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's
regretting
I'll tell
everything
you what
I'm
to
saying.
say. Yeah. You say whatever you want. It's none
And
of my
this
business.
is pre-Gone Nuts Cusack, too. This is a very eligible,
I don't know where he was
Cusack.
mentally at the time, and I just know that when I was on Raya that there was no takers. So I have a vague resentment towards Raya, but not.
Was his theme song with like, because you get a song, right? You know, you can upload songs to your profile.
Oh,
was
Raya?
it In Your Eyes? Was it Peter Gabriel?
Mine was Johnny Cash. I don't know what his is. His was just
okay.
eyeliner. There was nothing else. It was just.
He had eyeliner.
The theme of eyeliner itself.
So
it was a commercial for.
Nobody hit you up on Ryan?
Gel eyeliner.
Well, find crazy Cusack tweets, by the way. If we're going to talk this much about him and his craziness, you can find crazy stuff on it. But he hit you. He hit you up. What do you mean nobody? You're beautiful. You're successful. Well, who's not?
Yeah,
who's
I don't
not
believe it. I feel like
doing
people
this?
hit you up.
People would engage with me. This always happened to me when I dated online. I also they would engage with me, and then I'd have like a day of banter with them, and then I would project every good quality onto them, and they have the rest, just like I get so excited if somebody was funny and fun, and then they never ask you out, which I don't, even in like a guy's mind that has a sea of options, I never really understood that. Like, why just waste your time doing that? Just, but
I don't know.
But I also would take all of Patty Stranger's advice, that woman who tell you what men want.
Your picker's broken, girl. You have to fix your picker. That one?
Wait,
so
where is she from?
Everything I'm saying, I'm actively regretting as I'm saying this.
You have a bad picker. You need to fix your
She
picker.
would tell you what men want, and it was never right. First of all, we don't
want her hair. That's what we don't want.
She would say, here's what guys really want. One of the things she said was that men want you to bake them a cake on the second date. She's like, dude, bake him a cake. I'm like, first of all, you look insane when you do that. You're going to make a suit out of his skin. And they also said that men want for you to...
Bake him a cake on the second date.
Isn't that insane? Like, that's
crazy.
If it was pineapple upside down...
You'd like it?
I'd be into it. Yeah.
If she...
But she did give me a good tip.
Found my grandmother's chocolate cake recipe in my drawer. I'd be like, you're insane, but maybe good insane.
Patty Stanger had a show where she got everyone dating, and she talked about having a bad picker.
And it was called, I think it was called How to Meet a Millionaire or something. And I wasn't trying to meet I just need to say that I wasn't like a gold digger. It was more in my throbbing desperation to meet someone that I was like, all right, what does Patty say you have to do? And she said men hang out at steakhouses and that you should go to a steakhouse if you want to meet a man. So I would go to a steakhouse after my shows and just sort of leer at strangers. But
Would
I
you
wouldn't
meet guys? No.
No, because I wouldn't be like brave enough to actually speak to them. So I would just sort of look over yearningly, and they would be like with an office party, and I'd probably like hand them like, I mean, I wouldn't actually do this, but I felt like I had the vibe of some woman that would like hand you a matchbook with her number on it. There was a great sadness to all of this.
Is Raya easier for women to get on because there's always looking for women? Like, it's always a shortage. Like if you show up, if they go, look, we're having a gangbang or an orgy, it's like, you got to bring a woman though, because otherwise it's going to be 200 dudes are going to show up and no chicks,
Yeah.
So is Raya try to recruit women, or
I feel like it's more like I feel like guys clean up more from Raya. Like all my male comic friends, but that's true. Also, this is coming from a perspective of female comics. There's a real supply and demand issue with us. Like no guys waking up like I got to get my mitts on a female comic. Whereas male comics would go on Raya. They'd put their Conan headshot in their Raya profile, and they would just clean up.
I don't know.
Puss-wise.
It just all sucks. I mean, just like the whole talk about Raya just makes me want to jump out a window.
I've never been on Raya, but it's serendipitous.
So many hot girls on Raya. Well, what does your wife do? She's a
singer-songwriter.
Met somebody very lovely and smart. Yeah.
She's a singer-songwriter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, she's amazing.
And did you guys meet right away or did you go with other people first? Or
we like bantered, and then we both like dated other people while we started seeing each other, Mm-hmm. But then, got quickly serious.
She got with Cusack.
Yeah, she hung out. She was also dating Cusack, and she texted me from the date and be like, "This guy's fucking crazy." In about like 6 years, he's gonna be totally out of his mind in like an 84-year-old type of way, but his age.
The book,
and
by
I was
the
like,
way,
I love you, babe. Get away from him. Fuck Cusack. Come to be with me, huh? He grew up in Evanston. I'm Highland Park over Evanston, baby. That's what. So I won. I beat Cusack.
You did.
Yeah.
By the way, the book, Brett's book. I should tell everyone the terrifying realm of the possible. Nearly true stories.
Right.
And it sounds very interesting. Is this your first novel or tome or whatever we're calling it?
It's a book of short stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is my first.
And did some publishing house come to you, or do you go, I got some ideas and I'm just going to get going, or how did it work?
Like a few years before, I wanted to do that, and I wanted to go to publishing houses, and then they were like, oh, okay, write a themed thing, like Chelsea Handler or Aziz or something. And I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to just write, funny stories and be an author. If I'm going to be an author, I'll be an author. No slam on that stuff, on those books, but and then after Fleabag season 2 came out, an editor from a publishing house reached out to me. And then we formulated the pitch for the book, and then the house bought the pitch.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I've been forced to write several books, and it's something you probably wouldn't do, but if someone pays you some money up front and they give you some dates and they go, here's when we need the transcript or the original, rough copy, and then they'll be edited, and then the back and the final, whatever. And it kind of makes you get your shit together, I found.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, I really procrastinated on it. I probably worked on it for 3 years, but out of that 3 years was 6 months of actual writing.
Right.
But in the meantime, I was doing a lot of acting work and other things.
But didn't they go we need a manuscript by December? Didn't they lay out a timeline for you?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And then as soon as, and the more time went on, the deadlines got harder and harder.
Did you work with an editor that would scold you? First of all, everybody's talked a lot about this. I see it everywhere. This book, it's already really insanely successful.
Oh my God! Thank you. Is it?
Yeah, there was a big party in New York for it that I felt I was on the road in some sad city, and I missed the cool
that
premiere
party. Was fun. That party was.
It
fun.
looked fun. Yeah, I was jealous of that party.
I mean, yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's difficult to know how well anything, or myself are doing at all. You just are grateful that things happen at all. But yeah, I had my editor never scolded me.
No, I would need that. I would need somebody that was kind of angry, that I was vaguely fearful over. But you were,
really?
Yeah, but you.
No. I don't work well that way.
Right.
And I don't, people. It's usually the other way around with me.
But you yell at them.
No, I don't yell at them. But I'm I don't know. I'm one of those people that people are always oh, I thought you hated me when you met me. And I'm no, I didn't. I had, I didn't have any.
Maybe that was the problem with the childhood. Maybe those kids in the neighborhood thought you didn't like them.
Maybe.
And maybe they wanted to be friends with you.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could be. Do you think that, they probably thought I didn't like them when they were kicking my head in.
Do we find any crazy Cusack anything? And if we did, represent it on my small screen so we can follow this up.
We have some tweets, and we also have a great crossover here between Cusack and Brett's wife on Instagram. We have a fun Instagram post.
What?
Wait, what is that?
What is this?
Oh, yeah. No, because this was like my wife was posting.
This is your wife? She's so beautiful.
Thanks. No, it was like, he was saying a lot of like anti-Israel shit. So like she was jokingly photoshopping her with him and saying that he was her boyfriend, to mock him.
Yeah. This is art almost imitating life.
Yeah, exactly. No, that is funny. I forgot that she did that post.
Yeah, it's a picture of him say anything instead of holding the boombox over the head. He's holding a sign that must be pro-Israel, but I can't really read it from here.
It's not pro.
Or it's not anti.
Yeah.
Wait, it's anti-Israel.
It's anti-Israel.
Oh, I thought is he pro-Palestine? Pro-Israel?
Yeah, he's anti-Israel. No, anti-Israel. And then,
Oh, wait a minute. I'm confused. Cusack's anti-Israel.
Yeah.
Okay. So
was like
I thought
tweeting all of these like crazy conspiracy
right, but
theories.
I said a sign
shit.
that was pro-Israel, and you said no.
No, that sign is pro. I mean, I don't even like to say.
Well, what does a sign say? I guess that'll.
What does it say? I can't see.
I can't see from
the
here
river
either.
to the sea. Palestine will be.
So it's a call for.
So it's basically Cusack being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Right, now we got it.
and so she at that time was. Part of her therapy was mocking people.
Yeah,
who were
that's
being
good.
That way.
Well, listen, if you deserve mockery, then you should get mockery.
Exactly.
I don't like it when people are fucking douchebags and then you call them out on it and they go, "Hey, man, why are you talking shit?" It's like, why am I? You did this thing, and now I'm talking about it. Doesn't mean I'm talking shit. Like the victims of murdered kids get to talk shit about the person that murdered their kid. Like, why are you talking shit? It's like,
I know.
Well, you did something that's clearly mockable, and so now we're mocking you.
Exactly.
That's how it works. And by the way, there's a way to avoid this.
Yeah.
Do not do stupid ass shit publicly.
I know. Seriously, just shut the fuck up.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, this
Dear
is
God.
What is
this?
Oh my God.
Is he talking to your wife? Who's he talking to?
No, he's not talking to my wife. My wife doesn't engage with people directly ever. No, she has more things to do. Yeah, she just slammed him. So she's not even on Twitter. Really, I mean, she is, but she doesn't really do it.
All right, so you can read it because you're the thespian in this group.
Okay,
Brett.
you stupid dumb cunt.
This is Cusack replying.
John Cusack.
Cusack. Yes, sorry, it's Cusack.
Oh, Cusack. No, I know you might be right. It might be Cusack.
It's the Cannes Film Festival, then it's the Cannes Film Festival.
Exactly.
It's
who knows?
Kiev. My entire life is Kiev, and now it's Kyiv.
Right.
So I don't know anymore.
I know. I say, we know what you mean.
Yeah. So is he replying to this person?
I guess so. So, you stupid dumb cunt, you absolute fool. Dem socialism is FDR, the New Deal. Ever heard of it? You moronic ghoul, you mental oyster. You fucking
That was my Raya
stooge.
handle, by the way.
We did
Mental
band
oyster.
together for the GI Bill, the interstate highways, for workers' rights, clean water, Social Security, every right you have, you dumb fucking golem. Okay, well, that's
all the guy.
That's extreme. He's angry.
He's replying to a guy named John.
Yeah, what did John say? So when are you rich American socialist going to pool your money together with America middle class and poor socialist? Not great grammar, but neither was John's. So when are you rich American socialists going to live together through co-housing with American middle class and pool something. Okay.
I have a stalker right now that's schizophrenic, and both of these tweets sound like things she writes to me.
You got a she.
Sorry, I shouldn't be talking
it's really fun.
Speaking of everything,
I mean, you're definitely empowering her and increasing.
Yeah, she's going to make a suit out of my skin after this. But
all right.
But the top one was
G5 will prove to be very, very bad
5G,
for people. Oh, sorry, 5G will be very, very bad for people's health. That's a Cusack. Anything else where cusses?
Anyone who signs a fucking bomb should be put in a mental institution for the criminally insane.
I don't know. I kind of miss the World War II days where they're like, Emperor Hirohito, this one's for you, you know? I mean, look. You got to blow off some steam. You're on an aircraft carrier. You're 19.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's like people sign walls. That's a bomb is your wall when you're a soldier.
That's your canvas.
Exactly.
That's right.
You get it out. I mean,
Yeah. Probably first off, there's a real good chance this thing's gonna miss its mark. They never land on anything. I mean, most of them. And there's a good chance that the guy's flying the plane with the bomb on it's not even coming back. So let's enjoy ourselves.
And even if it hits its mark, the target's not going to be able to read the message on the bomb.
I think it depends on what you write on the bomb. Like, is it like "Have a great summer" or?
No, it's like.
Just kidding. I'm being a moron.
It's like. Well, I know I shouldn't have said no. But here, when the bomb goes off in your village, chalk dust will be the least of your worries. That's on the side. It's more shrapnel than it is chalk that does the damage. No, guys. We used to let guys paint up the side of their plane, put their girlfriend's name on it, or glamorous, Gilda or whatever. I mean, the Enola Gay, the bomber the B-29, I think, Flying Fortress bomber, the Enola Gay. This is the pilot's mom's name. Enola, her name is Enola Gay. And the Enola Gay that dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or Hiroshima probably, was the mom's name. And now it's got to suck for mom because at some point she's going to want to head into town and get some sushi or something. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, here comes Enola Gay. Like, what's your name? You're making a reservation at the sushi place? Yeah, Enola. Enola, I don't like the sound of that. Last name, Gay. What?
No, definitely. I mean,
family lived in that village.
She married into that name is the saddest part of the story.
Yeah. No, I mean, No, it's very complicated. Very complicated.
You could name your plane and you could ride on your bombs.
Yeah. And now, I mean, you can. I don't know. I just, I don't know what. I've never been in combat, so I don't know what that's like.
Cusack doesn't like guys like in modern times taking the chalk and writing on the munitions, like on the bombs.
Right.
Saddam, this one's for you. Like there's a lot of that stuff.
There's a lot that goes into being a soldier that leads to you doing that, maybe. I wouldn't understand.
I would say if you're going to put your life on the line for the nation, I'll look the other way on idiosyncratic behavior.
I mean, I don't think like any bombs like say like, hey, babies, right? Like take this up, babe child. I don't think that's really being written on the bombs.
No, it's very tasteful, and it's usually
it's very specific.
This reminds me of what was the Tell's joke about when they said they got rid of Osama? They gave Osama bin Laden like a proper funeral, and I can't murder a Tell's joke, but I mean I can't mangle it. But he had the funniest joke.
Is it off the new special?
Like, oh, I'm sure it was a proper funeral. It's like an old Attell joke, and then he was talking about what the soldiers would actually did. They're like, and then they gave him a proper, like every time they have to announce that or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's like it's emotional fighting in combat.
Most of the stuff World War II probably had Adolf Hitler's, like Adolf's name on it.
Yeah,
and you could put stickers on the side of your plane. You put swastikas on there for every German plane you shot down.
So it was like a skateboard or a laptop, pretty much.
Wait, you put swastikas on your plane? You mean it's like a signifier for that you shot a German down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe you killed a stray Jew on the way back.
That is a conflicting symbol there. I was questioning that as much as you were.
That's counterintuitive.
Yeah, I would think it's probably better to not.
I'd say it was probably shot down as
I don't think like World War II soldiers on our side were celebrating killing the stray Jew.
I don't think so either. I was just thinking out loud. So. Just thinking out loud.
No, it's good with them. This is the thing that we should be allowed to do.
That's what Cusack would say.
Yeah, that is what Cusack would say.
Yeah, find me. Yeah,
I dated this guy once that was obsessed with this war game called Aces High, and we always had to go and fly around and meet different people that played this hypothetical war game. He was never in combat, but he was completely obsessed with this game about war. He said his biggest regret in life was that he wasn't in the military. I'm like, you deserve to be with someone that doesn't think that's hilarious. Yeah. But he just I'm like, either you were or you weren't. But anyway, we spent the night at this guy's house once, and it was somebody else from his war game, and they had a Nazi plane on their like screensaver, and it was like the big swastika on every side, and I was like, you don't think that's disturbing for me that I want to sleep in where there's like the plane with a Nazi symbol on every side? And he's like, oh, it's a beautiful plane though. You have to respect the integrity of the plane. But I'm thinking that was I thought it was like from Hitler's side. Am I wrong? I don't understand.
It just
things,
is like,
I guess.
What a fucking nerd.
Well, yeah, that was a German plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and why? Okay, if you respect the integrity of the aircraft, you have to have a Nazi symbol on your I'm like, no, you're Nazi-esque at best.
You have to admit the swastikas, really design-wise is just incredible.
Find me the cockpit side of a P-51 Mustang with a bunch of swastikas on it. So you get one for every German plane you shoot down.
That makes sense.
Kind of like if you play for Michigan football team, you get a sticker on your helmet.
And it probably
for every Jew. I mean,
and you hate that you're an American soldier. You hate the swastika.
Yeah,
it's your enemy. So you look at the ones that you like, and it fires you up to get more.
Yeah, if you have a plane that has like 13 little postage stamp swastikas on the side of it, that means that guy's killing Nazis.
Right.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
I don't know if Cusack would sign off on that though. I don't think he'd like it.
I don't know. These days, who knows what he would sign off on? We'll see. We'll see when he tweets at you about this episode. Calls you a dumb cunt.
Listen,
Nazi cunt.
I like it.
Carolla.
Yeah, there it is. There is a P-51 Mustang with Nazi symbols on it.
Huh. But it's not like drawn, it's like printed?
This is a weirder version of it. This is not the version I'm normally used to seeing. I don't normally do it this way.
It's more like the helmet of an Ohio State foot linebacker.
I mean, that would be confusing. If you're like freeing North...
That's I like where your head's at. There's other ones that are just stuck individually, like all along the side of the pilot.
I don't love it.
I mean, if I was a Holocaust...
You don't love it?
If I was a Holocaust survivor...
Now you agree with Cusack?
No, not that they did it. I just don't like the look of it, I don't like how swastikas look.
Yeah,
Is that a surprise? Is that a big surprise?
No,
I'm not upset at them for doing I get why they did it.
Yeah, this is more what I was thinking.
So wait...
Yeah, I mean, a little. If I was
would they take
letting out
the label off the plane and then glue it, or are they like painting that?
I think they had adhesive stickers, and for every kraut you shot down, you get a sticker, and that's how we know who the aces are.
All right, yeah. So, it would motivate everybody to kill more Nazis.
Yeah,
but I would think it would be a calming symbol if you were like, if I was scampering away from a concentration camp. It's one of the dumbest things I've ever said out loud. But,
well.
Yeah, but if I was being freed from a camp, and I start all my sentences this way.
And you saw that those mean dead Nazis. No, you'd feel good that like that soldier had killed that
I
many
would,
Nazis.
knowing that, but I think I would be a little shook up getting on the plane. That wouldn't be the first welcome symbol I'd want to see with a U.S. soldier.
You'd hope that the soldiers would explain it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
To people.
It's hard
I think
to hear
back then it was understood, in the theater they were in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there wasn't, it's mostly just other dudes. The people who saw it were either pilots, maintenance guys who fixed the planes, guys who fueled the planes. So
Jews weren't getting in those planes. Those were bomber planes. Those weren't the planes that rescued people from the
Oh,
camps.
good point. You guys should just keep explaining things to me, and I'll get dumber
Well, there
throughout
weren't
the
really
episode.
planes that rescued people from the camp, but those were fighter planes that shot down Germans.
Yeah.
You guys both block me after this episode, please.
No, it's fine.
I did mine on Raya.
This is
already.
a safe space. Yeah.
All right, let's get some
That's a good
plugs out. Let's get some plugs going. The book, The Terrifying Realm of the Positive. People are having parties. It's a thing.
It's a book that people
It's a
party
great
over.
name, The Terrifying Realm of the
Absolutely.
Possible.
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect.
Probably be
so much.
spun off into some features or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not out of the realm of possibility.
Never. Come on, this is Hollywood.
Rachel Feinstein, very funny stand-up special, big guy.
Thank you.
Makes fun of her mom a lot, but her husband more, which I enjoy.
Thanks, guys.
You can take it. He's a fireman. Big guy's the name of that. I'm going to be at Jimmy Kimmel's Club doing stand-up coming up on Thursday, and then at the Alcazar Theater with Dawson over there doing stand-up on Saturday. You just go to adamcrow.com because I got live stand-up shows everywhere. Until next time, this is Adam for Sabrina and Brett and Rachel saying, Mahala.
You can leave us a voice